Hello everybody and welcome back to Broken Brian, and it's a few days away from Halloween, so definitely I'm watching some spooky movies, and I finally got around to watching Late Night with the Devil. Now, if you don't like scary movies, if you don't like supernatural, possession, things like that, just go ahead and just click the like button and close the window. I will completely understand. It's not for everybody, and I'm not saying it should be for everybody, but I am obsessed with possession movies and supernatural movies, anything to do with the existential, the metaphysical, the supernatural, the spiritual, any type of those movies I'm obsessed with. So I personally really do enjoy stuff like this. It not from just, not some twisted thing. I just enjoy thinking and pondering on if this was real, the implications of it. And that's why I like stuff like this. I have family members in my family that will never watch anything like this, and I completely understand. Sorry, Mom. But I love these movies, and personally, this was an amazing horror movie. And I classify it as horror because it's really supernatural horror. It is horror. It does get a little gory, but the focus of it is not the gore. It's a byproduct of what happens. So if it's a byproduct of the story, I'm okay with it. If there's a horror movie that is centered on gore as the main focus, I'm out. There's movies like Hostel, Human Centipede, and things like that. Absolutely not. I learned my lesson very early on that type of stuff does not sit well with me. It just, I don't like it, don't want to see it. It's not for me. So I am kind of thinking, okay, I watched the trailer when it first was released back in January, February of this year, and it only got like a short limited release in my area, and I didn't get to catch it in theaters, and I was very upset about that. And I was like, okay, it will come to streaming. So I finally watched it, and I loved it because it had me, it was almost nail biting the entire time. But for some of you that don't know what this movie is, we should probably stop and just look at the trailer so we can kind of see what I'm going to talk about more. And let's just take a quick look at the trailer and what this is.
We are back in 5, 4.
Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Terror!
Oh, good evening, Night Owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again. Well, Night Owls, we've got a heck of a show in store for you tonight, and I'm very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very eyes. I really hope you love it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it. Love it.
I'm trying to host a nationally syndicated talk show.
And I'm trying to help you keep it on the air.
We all know how important it is to keep our sponsors and affiliates happy, but in my humble opinion, there is only one person who really matters in this whole darn crazy business. And that is you, our viewer.
You're meddling with things you don't understand.
Whoa! Now, as you know, here on Night Owls, we think it's very important to keep an open mind. Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. She's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do live TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Lily, can you hear me?
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
This
This isn't about ratings anymore.
No one's going anywhere.
How could you let it happen, Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room. What you're about to see
You okay, Jack?
is profoundly disturbing and shocking.
You get out there, Mr. Midnight. And you knock him dead.
Now, this was so good. When I saw the trailer, I was like, yes, I want to see this, because I've watched, I think, every possession movie out there, and I own probably a majority of them and everything. I'm fascinated with demon possession. Just the whole idea of it and how that relates theologically. And I have lots of good debates with some of my theological friends, and and it's fun to discuss it. But it's a reality. It was a reality at one point. I'm a cessationist. The apostolic gifts are not seen today, only by divine right and things like that. So it's not like you got like the apostles running around doing all these miracles, driving out demons. That was for an age, and now we're at something different. So I am of that theological belief. So it's fun to me knowing that I can watch this and not have to worry about it. But this movie, it said, what was it? Rosemary's Baby and The Network. To me, my comparison for more modern day, they picked those comparisons because, that's around the time this is supposed to take place, like in the 70s, I think 77. So yeah, you want to pick movies around that time. But really, truly, I think this is more like a, what do you call it? A Blair Witch Project meets The Exorcist. And obviously The Exorcist. But the whole way this movie is built is kind of like found footage. They found the master tapes of this show that aired, but it also has background information they put on it to give background on the host, how he lost his wife and how he's in a ratings battle with Johnny Carson, at the time, king of late night, and now how he's desperate to come out on top and pulls out all the stops on Halloween to get everyone he can to watch to hopefully put him over the top. So you see his motivation is about becoming the king of late night, and he has a medium, kind of like, what was that guy's name? What was that con man's name? Jonathan Edwards, not the theologian, the fake psychic, that does cold readings and tries to like, oh yeah, so I feel an Aaron, or does the cold readings in the room trying to guess things and do that, and has a formal debunker, a former magician turned skeptic, who goes around trying to debunk all supernatural things, and that's kind of one of the guys that's on the show. And then of course the young lady who is possessed, and it is called Late Night with the Devil, but it's not, the character isn't really the devil, it's some sort of demon. But the whole premise of all these weird things coming about, and it's got that 70s look, so while it's in color, it's supposed to be the TV show as it aired, but there's a lot of cutscenes of just the background rolling of the cameras, of the extra cameras that are rolling in between takes and commercials that pick up the stuff that's in black and white. And it really adds another layer of what's really going on behind the scenes. So it has this, you don't just see what's going on the stage, you see the drama behind it and what's pushing these people to do these things, and the actual possession of the young girl is really well done, and it looks spectacular. It looks like it was made for the 70s. They did a great job as a horror possession movie. Top tier. I loved it, and I only have one regret for this movie, Well, I have two. One, that it took me so long to watch it, so long to finally get it. But two, when this released, I did some searching, and the company that made it, Umbrella Entertainment, made a collector's edition, and I wish I had purchased it. And here's why. Because this is one of the most unique things when I saw it. I knew about it, and I was going to pre-order it, and I kept thinking, but, when I start, and this was back before I started doing gaming really, so my interest kind of shifted away from that for the time. But what they did is they created a collector's edition, which I can probably find on eBay eventually. They made it a VHS copy of the movie. Now, to me, to watch something like this, it's like found footage, like found reels, and watch it on a VHS. I mean, I've got an old CRT in the garage that I'm sure still works. I just haven't plugged it in a while. I've got a VCR. Man, that'd be so cool to watch something like that on an old school CRT monitor and a VCR with a VHS. That was so cool. That's cool. And I can't remember. There's another movie coming out that's releasing on VHS too. And I thought, are we seeing? I can't remember what movie it was, but I heard about it within the past week or two. I'm like, are we going to see a re-emergence of VHS, kind of like we did with vinyl? And I'm kind of like, I was like, I've got two VHS DVD combos that are pretty darn old. I mean, they're approaching one of them about really pricey when they first came out. I mean, one's 15 years old, one's 10, I think. And I mean, I'm not sure the rubber bands and stuff that are inside of my VCRs still work. I mean, they've been in the garage for a while. They may not work. So, yeah, that's cool. A resurgence of VHS. How weird is that? And honestly, I would love to see it. But I know, like, I'm not going to get into the argument, like, should Christians watch this or not? That's up to you. And to me, this is entertainment. And it's also kind of weirdly a glimpse into how non-believing people look at and interpret demon possession and how they see it. And so to me, I love it on several levels, specifically the demon possession movies, whether they're like this or most of them are centered around the Catholic Church. Don't get me wrong. That's where a lot of it's going to be, but a lot of it is very interesting in its ritual and the way things are done, and just the fact that this exists is it's a mind tickle. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just something that's just in my head that's just always just like, it's always kind of like, how does that work? How does that work? And you wanting to understand the supernatural, metaphysical, and knowing I never will on this plane of existence. But this was such a well done movie that I'm probably going to watch it again this week. I mean, I just got finished with it and was just blown away about how good it was. I was just like, wow, this is really good. And honestly, I see why it's gotten such high ratings from everyone that's done it. It's done incredible. And I never thought I'd find something again that I liked that was found footage. They got overplayed, and I checked out after like the first or second Paranormal Activity. It was kind of like, and I'm done. And I get it. People love that one. I'm just, that's just haunting, found footage hauntings, and it's not so much for me. I'm just kind of like, when you lived through the Blair Witch Project, when you literally were there when it happened and lived through that, that's an experience that can't be recreated ever again. I mean, we really were debating. I remember we're debating in the high school cafeteria, whether it was real or not. I mean, that's the kind of mystique that was around it. It was so interesting. There was no extra footage. It was just, let's believe they found all the tapes and put them all together, and that's how. I mean, it was something else. And then the found footage thing took off, and it just, and this is kind of in that genre. I mean, it has to go in that genre because that's what it is, but it's something different. And they decided to do it in this way, but they did an excellent job. I put this, if this is the best found footage movie I've seen since the Blair Witch Project. Now, I'm talking about Cloverfield and all the others too, but this was the best one since Blair Witch Project. That made me think that this might be real. I mean, it pulls you in, and it starts the way they did the camera angles and the people and how everything. It makes you feel like this is real. And it was well done. So absolutely love this movie. This is not a movie for everybody. I want everyone to just double check that. It's not a movie for everybody. Like, I'm definitely not letting my kids watch this because they will have stinking nightmares because they don't know how to handle something like that is so realistic looking. And you're just, whew. But it was so intriguing and so engaging. I couldn't stop. I know. But I loved it. It's spooky. It's creepy. It's scary. It's engaging. You're fully invested in every actor on that stage. From the hype man, I forgot his name. He's right there in the background, the little bald guy. Can't remember his name. But you're fully invested in all the characters. Like, you want to know what happens to every single one of them, and it's so good. I truly do think this is a great horror movie. This is definitely one that I will put up there with, yeah, it's spooky season. We need to spin up Late Night with the Devil. I'll be getting a physical copy. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get the VHS copy. That would have been cool. I mean, come on, VHS. When was the last VHS made? Like 25 years ago? I mean, really? I don't know. I don't remember the last time VHS was. It had to be the 90s. It was probably the last VHS ever made. So 30 years, 25 years. I mean, it's been a while. So that's just cool to me. So just because it's spooky season and I do love these possession movies, I just want to share it with you from someone who doesn't just absolutely love horror, everything horror. I don't. I have my specific focus of movies that I like that are scary. And, I don't watch much horror. I watch the supernatural horror, like this stuff, and it's great. This was top tier, wonderful. I can't recommend it enough for people that like this, people that are on the fence of scary and not sure if you like it. Do not watch this, period. No, do not watch it. Because this is something that, this makes me think that, I remember when my mother always told us that when she watched The Exorcist, it scared her so bad she would never watch it again. She wouldn't let us watch it. She didn't want to watch anything about possession ever again. It terrified her so much as when she was younger. She's like, never again. And which is all the more reason I think I fell in love with it, because I was told no. Sorry, Mom. But I did, and this is like today's Exorcist. Like, seriously, like, kids today, if they saw this is their true, just, this is too real and too you're emotionally and just mentally invested into the entire movie. By the time she contacts the demon, it's too real. It is real, and it was just outstanding. So that's all I've got. Let's have a fun and safe spooky season. And to everyone out there, as always, I love you all. and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.